Listeners, I mentioned at the end of the last episode, if you didn't hear it, that's because you clicked out early. How dare you? But I mentioned at the end of the last episode that Roula's son sent us in a voice message. So I'm very excited because Roula didn't know that he did this. So,
hey Rosie Roula, I have an idea for the podcast episode. You know that like in America, United Kingdom, and Australia, they say like they have like a different accent and they say different stuff and write different. Can you guys make an episode about that, please? Thanks.
was the cat on the recording then, or is
That's the cat.
That's the cat now?
No, on the recording.
Oh, on the recording. The cat contributed to this recording. Okay. I have thoughts on this. So, I don't know. Do you want to start?
I have no idea. So my son is asking.
You don't even know what he's asking, do you? Do you know what he's asking?
You drank and the whole water fell.
No, it didn't. It didn't. There's no water.
You spilled water.
Did it? I didn't.
I understand his question.
Okay.
He wanted to know why in the English language, different countries have different accent, different way of speaking.
And spelling, yeah.
And spelling. I say this podcast is not for children. There he is.
Is it Liam? Hey, Liam.
Yeah, come over. I'm gonna have him come over for a second. So yeah, I say this podcast is not for children, but please, family, feel free to listen to this with your child. And let's have him physically come to the stage and say, hi.
It's Liam. Hi.
We're gonna answer
I'm loving your new hair, Liam. I haven't seen you in a while.
I'm gonna give him the earphone.
Okay. I'm loving your new hairstyle. I haven't seen you in a while. It's changed.
Thanks.
I like it. Very cool. We're just about to answer your question that you sent in. Do you remember about accents?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
All right, darling. Thank you for sending the question.
Jazz hands.
Just
What kind of fun? All right.
It's a bit messy here.
No,
don't dob your
it's a
mum
bit
in.
messy. Here it looks perfect. Don't look around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Liam.
New guest required.
New guest acquired.
He's such a funny guy. Yes. I don't know. You said you have thoughts on the
I
question.
do have thoughts because it drives
Bring it on.
me bonkers. So in Australia, we use British spelling, what they use in the UK. So a good example of that, what's a common
The S
one?
is
Colour.
Z.
Yes, okay, S is Z. So for example, if we said specialise, in Australia, in the UK, it's I-S-E on the end. But in the US, only the US, can I just add, I-Z-E. And, oh my goodness, there's things like colour. In the US, C-O-L-O-R. In Australia or the UK, other countries, C-O-L-O-U-R. So that's one thing. And that, yes, there's accents. That's a big thing. But something I want to add to Liam's comments is the words we use can be different. So in Australia, thongs mean flip-flops or sandals. In the UK, a thong is a G-string.
Yeah. And
And
in
in
America, it's a G-string. It's
Well,
not a thong.
yeah, so how interesting is that? Yeah, I'm not sure in America, probably. And in Australia, and I think the US, pants mean trousers, but in the UK, pants means underwear. And I've lived in the UK, so I've got experience of it. But it's all English. It's considered the same language, but totally different meaning.
Okay.
Totally different.
Pavement.
Yes.
Is it sidewalk in Australian or is it pavement?
Footpath.
Footpath.
Yeah, see, this is another word. Walking down the footpath. I wouldn't say...
Trash can.
No, rubbish bin.
Rubbish bin.
Yeah. Like I know what that word means, but
you never
we
use
use
it.
a different word. Yeah, I don't really use it. And if someone says it, I'm like, oh, that's very American. Like if they're an Australian saying it. But what really pisses me off, Roula, is that, and I'm going to be judged so hard for this because I'm generalizing, but I'm leaning into it. Online, when I see posts from an Australian source and they're talking about something. So what's an example? We call, the back of your car and you have the lid thing, we call it a boot. I don't know what you were taught when you learnt English, but in the US, it's called a trunk.
Yeah.
We do not call it that here. So you see posts where it might refer to it as a boot, and all these people in the comments, oh, what the fuck is a boot? Oh my God, I don't know what that means, man. All these other like rubbish bin, can, windscreen wipers was one of them. I can't even remember what word they used. Over here, that's the front of the car. What's the word the US uses? It's something else.
Motor cab? No.
See, I've forgotten. I have no idea. See, I've forgotten. But even you, English is not your native, or your first language, sorry, but you are aware that there's different words that mean the same thing, right? And it's not your first language.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent. Of course, you can't know everything. Neither can I. English is my first language. I am aware that there are different words meaning the same thing. There are ones I prefer to use, but if I hear someone say a different word, I know what they mean. But it just seems American people in the comments are just outraged and couldn't possibly believe that there are other people in the world that use different words. And I think, you're so small-minded. And then I was confronted, not by anyone else, but by myself. And I went, maybe I should be less harsh. Because I realised most television, that are in English, is from the United States. And I thought, how are people in the US going to be exposed to how we speak in Australia? Because there's hardly any Australian TV shows or movies that they would see. There's more British things they would see, though. So, come on. I find it so weird that people think there is one way of saying things. I don't expect people to know all the words, but don't be like, oh my God.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's not
That's right. Right. It's just
uses
different. And yeah, inside it pisses me off when someone spells the American way. But you know what? I suck it up. Unless it's, okay, as a teacher, and I'm teaching in Australia, I would correct it because that's the generally accepted way to spell. However, there would be a conversation that actually, if you were in the US, that's accepted spelling. So you're not wrong, but the way we spell here, like you said, it's not wrong.
You're at school and you write the word organization with an S rather than a Z.
See, that's another one. Z.
Or is it correct?
Z. We don't say Z. We say Z.
I say Z.
Yeah. You say Z.
I said Z. Before I said Z, I was mixing it up.
Right. And it's just that because sounds totally different. Well, yeah, but then there's even people in Australia who have started saying that. And on the podcast, we talk about Gen Z. I don't say Z, but because we hear it being referred to as Gen Z from the media in the US, it sounds weird to say Gen Z. So I say Gen Z. You reckon?
Look, because it's not my born mother language, I feel very confused when I'm writing. Because if I use OU when I should use only O, I don't know. Am I misspelling in my email? Will people take it seriously?
How do you know what spelling to adopt?
Exactly. And if it's a Z or an S, let's say I'm now I don't know why I have this word in my mind, sidewalk or pavement, trash can or bin, dirt bin, trash bin.
Bin, rubbish bin, yeah.
As a non-native English speaker, it is also very confusing.
I bet it is.
I feel judged by whomever is reading. If you're English speaking from Australia or from the UK or from the US and you're reading my email, you will think that I cannot spell. Because it could be that in the same paragraph, I have something spelled in the English way and another word spelled in the American way. Because I don't know. I go with the feeling.
I feel for you. You go with the feeling.
I go with the feeling. I remember I worked at a company and the chief finance officer, she was a lady from the UK. She sent an email to the entire organization that she will not accept the word, I can't remember, written with S or with a Z. She wanted us to write them the English way only. This is how I knew
that seems like
there's an English and an American. Yeah, she was very... Which is not a bad thing.
What was the... Hang on. Was it Murenurka? What was the ant fucker one? Was that to do with being anal? I'm sure there was a... Yeah.
Murenurka, yeah.
Anyway, yes.
We just said this is for children, and now please, we have to put the warning at the beginning. My son has
at your own discretion. We do mark the podcast as explicit. It's okay. I think you have conversations with your children and you make decisions as to if it's appropriate to listen to the podcast. Anyway, I just had another thought. There are words that are very similar but are pronounced differently.
Schedule or schedule?
For God's sake. What do you say?
Schedule.
Me too. But see, that's not necessarily a UK or an Australian or a US thing. That's almost a dialect, like if people, it does get on my nerves, I got to say. I need to, like, I don't generally say anything, but if someone says, how do you say it the other way? Schedule or schedule. How do you say it? Schedule. Or things like tissue instead of tissue.
Yeah, tissue.
See, we're laughing, but why? You know, maybe we shouldn't. And there are very strong accents in the UK, and I'm saying this because when I moved from Australia as a teenager to the UK, some accents I found very difficult to understand because the pronunciation was totally different. Like, I can't even think of an example. You know, something like castle or castle, that's relatively straightforward to figure out.
Okay, yeah.
But there could be, sometimes the accent is so thick, just like, what? It's hard. And people think the same with the Australian accent. I think it can be very difficult to understand, especially for people where English isn't the first language. Our accent is very strong and we cut off certain letters.
This brings me to a thought.
Yes. Let's hear it.
All my 23 years in the Netherlands, I only worked in international companies.
Yeah,
and
okay.
We had people from all over the world. And now we're talking about English. So I worked with Australian, with Irish, Scottish, from England, the UK, the Britain. No, Britain has Scotland, I think.
I always get confused. Yeah, let's move on
Anyway,
because I don't want to get it wrong.
They all spoke English. And what I learned from observing people is that no matter where you come from, any part of this world, if you don't know how to speak properly, I would never understand your English. I can have two Australian people, one I understand fully clearly, and one I cannot hear. I hear just words, don't know what they mean. It could be
is that
two
because
Irish
of the
persons.
accent?
Yes, because there are accents that's so hard to hear. And I have people in my mind that while I'm saying this, I hear their voices in my head. When they speak English, I have to ask them all the time to repeat. And they get offended and find me funny that I don't understand what she doesn't understand. And I didn't have the courage to tell them, I understand English very well.
You do,
You don't know how to speak, and that's the problem. I mean, there are dialects, you understand dialects, but pronunciation, like they need to just fix
enunciate. Is that what you mean? Enunciate.
Yeah,
enunciate. Well, did you find me difficult to understand when we first met?
Not a bit. I understood you from the first day we had a conversation.
Oh, that's good.
I also understood. That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
When we had the free spirited community.
Yeah.
And the ladies were all Australian, except for the Italian lady. I forgot her name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were in this group, and when you and this lady started talking, I couldn't understand it anymore.
See, isn't that interesting? You're surrounded. Yeah. I do find when I moved to England, it's almost like you subconsciously try to assimilate, and so my accent would change a bit. I still sounded Australian to them, but if I would call and speak to a friend in Australia, they'd think I had a British accent because you adopt it. But then, for example, like the free-spirited community we had, surrounded by Australian people, and our accents must have been really strong.
It was, yes.
Must have been.
It's flabbergasted how, when you talk to me, it's absolutely not this way.
Wow. Yeah. And see, that's not something consciously I'm doing. I feel like I'm talking normal right now. Sometimes, and I really try not to do this, but when I speak to people who English isn't their first language, I'm sure that I sometimes slow down or try to pronounce things differently. I'm sure I do that sometimes when I feel like they might be struggling to understand me. But with you, I don't feel like I change my speech at all. I'm just being me.
It's lovely. It's clear. I love your accent. I love how you speak.
I love your accent.
See, we're in love again. This brings a memory of my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My mother is Palestinian. And, well, she left Palestine in 1948. She was a child, 10 years old. I'm born in 1974. Heard my mom speaking Lebanese all my life until somewhere mid-90s, 1990. Yeah. This is where, for the first time, her brothers visited her in Lebanon.
Okay.
After all these years, my mom speaking Lebanese. And then I met her brothers for the first time. My mom started talking to them, Palestinian Arabic. I was shocked. Like, what? Never heard you speak in this way. I could understand all her words. But the way she was speaking, I felt that she's a different person. Wow. And it fascinated me. Look, I still remember it till this day.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, her childhood dialect kicked in when she saw her brothers.
So was it the tone of her voice or how she pronounced words?
How she pronounced the words.
How she pronounced them.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, why I'm saying this first, because I remembered my mom, my sweet mom, may her soul rest in peace. I know her soul is resting in peace, I'm sure. And to say also, there are moments where you don't think about it, it's out of your control. Because I've been so judgy about these persons who speak the English in a way that I don't understand. But maybe they haven't been long enough with the ones who speaks clear English.
How do you define that? I feel like we bring our own bias into that, don't we? And I find you very easy to understand, and you saying you find me easy to understand. But even we have misunderstood each other at times. Something I will never forget. When I think you were interviewing me on your podcast, and you asked me about cooking, and the way you said it was cooking or cooking. I don't know what you said.
Cocaine.
And I said, what, cocaine? And it was hilarious, you know.
It was the first time we laughed our ass off together.
True.
That broke the ice.
Yeah, that was funny. So it still happens, but maybe there is something to be said about speaking in a way that is more understandable to the majority. Because, you know, you said I was speaking differently when I was with the Australian people. And yeah, like I probably did. But how I'm talking now perhaps is my voice when when I'm public speaking. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, how you going? You know, let's just go down the shops and go for a walk. And I went to the park yesterday. See how my accent, like sometimes I do talk like that and I sound very bogan. That's the word we use for it, bogan.
Bogan, what does that mean?
Bogan. It's someone who, that's a good question. How do I define it? Bogan. Somebody who, I guess, generally from a lower socioeconomic status, but someone who just, their manners and way of speaking is just
Don't
really
they say in
rough.
America trailer trash?
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
That's probably it. That's probably the equivalent. I want to see actually what is
in
Google
the Netherlands
say?
we say tacos. I forgot what we say in Dutch.
Oh, here you go. Google says, while you think of that, bogan is an Australian slang term for an unsophisticated, cultured, or boorish person, often perceived as working class, unpretentious, and rough around the edges. So yeah.
Can you ask them what is it in American? Bogan, the
bogan
equivalent in American
word.
Oh gosh, this episode is so long, but we're having so much fun.
I don't care. Redneck, apparently. Redneck, white trash, hillbilly, average Joe. And
Wow,
you said
they
trailer
have a
trash. Yeah, that's another one.
All right, so because I'm not an American, English, whatever. For me, it sounded the right word, trailer trash.
And I knew what you meant. I think we all need to be a bit more open-minded to learn, you know, the different terms.
Rosie, you also live in a trailer.
Yeah, I live in a van. Thank you. Not that I'm opposed to living in a trailer,
in America,
but oh my
they call
goodness.
it trailer.
No. They don't call a van a trailer. It's a fly. Excuse me. Look at me getting all defensive. Doesn't matter if you live in a trailer or not. But trailer trash is used as an insult, as is bogan. And I don't even know how we got to that. But the way we talk is so
You're
fascinating.
Yourself when sometimes
and the accent. I need to record how I talk, maybe on TikTok or something, because it's still me, but a different version.
English is very sophisticated.
Thank you. I'm sophisticated.
So on your podcast, everything you say is clear.
And that is the way I speak if I'm public speaking or perhaps in a corporate setting, something like that. But I'm curious, actually, because most of my guests on my podcast are American. I'm curious because I've had a couple of Australian guests. Is my accent any different? Is the way I talk any different? I don't know. You have nothing to say.
I don't have an answer to this.
Okay, all right. This was such a good question, Liam, or it wasn't even a question. He would be a great podcaster because he said, could you talk about this? That's what he said. That was the question, which really is more of a prompt. Can you talk about this? And look at us. We've just been
one of our longest episodes.
And you know what? I've had so much fun.
I still have things to add, but I'm gonna break.
Same. We need to stop. Something we say in Australia. See you later. It just means goodbye.
Oh, yeah. See you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.
À
Bye.
bientôt. نشوفكم مرة الجاية. Bye-bye. Tutsi.
Go off. Gosh. If you got a kick out of our conversation today, can you pretty please hit the follow button and share it with another opinionated person? This is the easiest way for you to support the show. It also gives Roula and I the motivation
Rosie,
to keep
I have
going.
to stop you there. Stop telling people what to do. If they like to follow the show and share it, it's totally up to them. Guys, please, can you help us follow and share the show? Thank you so much. See you next time.
Said.